But the pros outweigh the cons by far. By far. Having said that, waste no more time, I would like to ask Mr. Vito Charles to come forward.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say thank you to those who approached me after my last speech and gave me encouraging words or shared their points of view with me. Trust me when I say your feedback is welcome. Because after all, we must work together to move forward on SABRE. Let me start by saying that I am honored to be able to speak to you again tonight on the issues that I consider to be important in these elections. On election day, March 18 quickly approaches. It is even more important that we turn ourselves away from distractions and would-be distractions and focus and hone in on topics that really matter, not just to the WIPM party, but to and for the population of SABRE. WIPM's point of departure remains to do what is best for SABRE and her population. Yes, we have to contend with being a small island within a small kingdom within a big world. But that only means that we must work harder, put aside differences, think strategically, and put forward strong proposals and solutions that will bring an even brighter future to all of us. When we look around the Caribbean and even much of the Western Hemisphere, we see that while there are things that still need to be improved upon, things that still need to be discussed and negotiated with our European counterparts to ensure that even more improved SABRE, for the most part, SABRE is a very good place to live. Working and being towards an even better place in the years to come. Now that is not just rhetoric, because I know there's a lot of talk about floating around the place, especially these days. However, I must go back to my previous speech and say the governing of SABRE takes work, takes knowledge, takes know-how, and dedication. This election is about knowledge and know-how, about getting the job done for you, the people of SABRE. What does getting the job done mean? For me, getting the job done means seeing things as they are and as we want them to be, but also creating concrete plans from the concrete government to get the former to the latter. So tonight I want to talk about two things that I can see as they are and want to assist to getting where I know they can be. Two issues that are extremely near and dear to my heart are employment opportunities for young people and provisions for assistance for disadvantaged people on SABRE. Under the leadership of the WIPM party, we have already instituted the Employment Opportunity Program and the Social Assistance Program. But I believe that there is much more that can be done, and I am ready to work hard to do these things for you. What works for SABRE? SABRE's know the answer to this, and we must mine our history for the parts to speak to us about our way forward. Yes, we are a public entity of Netherlands, a status which has both its challenges and its rewards. But given our unique composition, we need to think of solutions to our own unique problems. Problems that citizens of the Kingdom of the Netherlands and even on our neighboring islands may not experience in the same way. We must make sure that our young people have the opportunity to work in local governments as well as in the Dutch government. We cannot, and when I am elected, we will not sit back and listen to the excuses that young SABRE men and women cannot be police officers, customs officers, and firemen on their own island. Because they don't speak the Dutch language. We can and must make sure that SABRE is represented by their own on all levels, with whatever effort it takes. SABREs of the past also had their challenges, in particular those who did not take to the sea, so they were forced to be resourceful, creative, and even, I dare say, innovative for their time. For many, they had an idea and they ran with it. They analyzed, plotted, planned, and then capitalized on their own thoughts. They became shopkeepers, ice cream makers, theater owners, bakers, tailors, gardeners, and I can go on and on. When they became these things, they sometimes also created job opportunities for others in their villages and beyond. What is Saber's next great idea? Who will put it forth? Jesse Jackson said, when you create more small businesses, you create small entrepreneurship. Out of that comes self-determination and employment. Entrepreneurship has become the model of many developing countries, and we must see it as a means and a model that we can use for our young people and old people alike to create more and new job opportunities. I believe in entrepreneurship, I believe in creativity, and I believe in innovation, and I definitely believe in the young people of Sable. Moreover, I believe that when you find ways to merge these three things together, you can get brilliance that will brighten the prospects for many on the island. So I ask you, what is your skill? And what do you need to turn that skill into a viable venture? These are the thoughts that take precedence in my mind. How do we get savers to have more control of their lives through entrepreneurship? We cannot expect young people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps if they have no boots. But once they are provided with boots and tools to grow, we should expect them to take advantage of a page of Sabre's recent past and run with those ideas, making them viable businesses. Once in the Island Council, I plan to investigate ways to inform young people and older people as well about the possibility for opening businesses, the expectations and requirements of such, and I plan to research more ways in which funding can be made available for these projects. I also look forward to working with relevant NGOs, including an entrepreneurship symposium where young people and socially disadvantaged can feel empowered through knowledge to take on new activities. We must make better use of the internet to stretch beyond our 5 square miles so that we can serve both local and global clients. This brings to mind the old adage, think globally, act locally. One of my favorites in high school. So our mindsets must become local, with one eye directed to happenings within our borders and the other on happenings beyond. In addition to empowering youth, we can look at providing funds to pensioners and to young mothers to reduce the impact of the cost of living by subsidizing some activities, including daycare and after-school care. We need to sit down with our partners in the Netherlands so that together we can discuss tax breaks, vouchers, and other creative ways of reducing the cost of living for our seniors and others on fixed incomes. Tackling the issue of cost of living is no easy task. Because we are a small population, we are dependent on imports for much of our needs. But there are solutions to reduce the burden of the cost of living. And we must find them to ease the load on some members of our society. We must be creative in offering new incentives to those willing to work together to solve their own village's difficulties, but also island-wide challenges. My own mother runs an after-school care program, and I know how essential this is to the community, but I also know that it's no easy feat. And we must look into ways of providing more support to NGOs and small businesses which fulfill critical functions in our community. Sabre is a small island and must seek to maintain a sense of community even in this modern, individualistic oriented world. We cannot forget that our history shows us that it took not only villages to raise a child, but it took villages to support each other. Where assistance was needed, community members stepped in to help. This must not become history. We must work day in and day out to ensure that this Sabre character trait is handed down to future generations. I also serve on the board of a foundation which provides young people opportunities to receive an education, exactly because we do not want them to become disadvantaged. And we envision them participating fully in the community of Sabre. I could speak for hours about my plan for Sabre, but I want to leave time for my other candidates as well. So this election day, on March 18, less than 1 week away. Entrust your vote to someone who is thinking and strategizing hard to save up. Someone who sees things not just as they are, but as they can be. Who is already thinking about the big picture of getting us from point A to point B. And who is cognizant, who is capable, and committed to you and to save up. Vote for Vito Charles, number 6 on the WIPM list.